of being a Christian outside of the Sunday.
Like you say,
services,
we think going to a service makes us a Christian.
Exactly.
Yeah, right. So here we are about to hear the second time Pastor J wanted to take a tattoo.
Would have been late last year and early this year.
Hope Unfiltered podcast with Pastor J and Ren.
Money is something we all deal with, but how many of us truly understand it? What if you could make better decisions with your money? Decisions that secure your future, protect your family, and bring you peace of mind. I'm Darren Jacobs, and I'm here to help you make sense of your dollars. Welcome to Dollars and Cents, the show that breaks down the financial world in ways that matter to you. No jargon, no confusion, just real conversations about money, your money. So join me every Wednesday at 10 a.m. on WESN for Dollars and Cents.
This holiday season, bring the magic of Christmas home with WESN's Joy of Christmas. Relive timeless classics from the laughter to the heartwarming moments that make the season unforgettable.
Hey, light the lamp, not the rat, light the lamp, not the rat!
Santa's coming to town!
Santa! Oh my God!
Oh, baby.
Experience the joy of WESN special productions, crafted to bring you new stories and cherished memories. This year, let WESN bring the joy of Christmas to your home.
Merry Christmas, Charlie Brown!
Catch the spirit, catch the joy.
Anchors away. May the force be with you.
Only on WESN, your content capital.
Hi, good morning, Mr. Digicel. How are you?
This is 10 Questions. I'm Andy Johnson. The distance from where we should be in the world in going forward on our commitments with climate change.
The effects of climate change that cannot be accounted for. It's called loss and damage, and we're seeing loss and damage happening so much more in this decade and the previous decade.
The principal term there was this question of the correspondent banking issues.
That is why we're trying to build capacity with this country here, Trinidad and Tobago, and other countries in the region.
Man is not showing any signs of stopping or even slowing down. More than half of the forest in Trinidad is already gone.
All the plants and all the animals and all of the nice clean water and fresh air and everything had to be on this planet for humanity to have a chance.
We have small change when it comes to countries that can take decisions, and when they speak, the world listens.
The General Assembly is a very democratic forum. And Trinidad and Tobago has the same vote as Canada, in spite of the obvious difference in size.
WESN.
Hello there, and welcome to AM Prime on WESN Content Capital. I'm Keaton Shaw. Thanks for joining us. Every morning I start this show, or try to start the show with a smile, but I have a bigger smile on my face because it's Friday. So who wouldn't be happy about that? And apart from being Friday, we're getting closer and closer to that magical day full of merriment, and the celebrations are in full swing. And if you're celebrating Christmas, just the sound of the music associated with the festivities and the season alone is a beautiful thing, particularly Parang. In fact, I look forward to Parang every year, and would you believe I have never really gone to Parang? Yeah, that's something that my guests might probably be very disappointed in me hearing as I introduce them this morning. Mr. Alicia Jagas, good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning, Katan, and good morning to Trinidad and Tobago and all the listeners on WESN. Yes, I am in shock.
Yes, I have to admit that.
We need to change that.
I agree. We made a plan in our studio last year for all of us to go up to Paramin, and I don't know what happened, but we're still planning to go up again this year.
Yes,
So,
it's happening on the 13th of December, Friday the 13th. So I would look forward to seeing you through the thousands of people up there.
no pressure at all. But how are you doing? How are you keeping?
I can't complain. I'm blessed. In spite of so many different challenges, there are so many positives inside of there. I recently lost my dad. Somehow Christmas seemed to be, I lose most of my loved ones around Christmas time, making it even more difficult to celebrate this festive season. But, quite able to maneuver my way through the season. And, well, as paranderos, late nights, but we're doing well.
Oh, I'm really sorry for the loss of your father. May you rest in peace. And I'm also sorry I have to wake you up so early for an interview. But thank you so much for joining us on the program. And it's that season; it's in full swing, as you would have mentioned. And last month, the National Parang Association members were saying that, with the junior Parang competition that was taking place, we see that the future of Parang, it's in a bright place. Parang is having a great time, and it's going to have an amazing future because of all the participation that we're seeing. When we spoke in earlier this year, a couple of months ago, when we were celebrating National Parang History Month,
yes,
I asked you in respect to whether or not you think there's greater participation in the art form. Are you seeing that happening? Are you seeing it growing every year?
Well, yes, I am seeing it. Like this year, when we look at the participation of the primary schools and the secondary schools, and this year in the Junior Parang Festival, we included an element, our youth officer, which is Joseph Bertram. We included an element that each school must research an icon in Spanish. So they had 5 minutes where they have to research this icon and make a presentation, because we see it more like a festival than just you come and do one song and done. But to immerse yourself in the culture of Parang, knowing the culture of Parang, knowing the icons, knowing what they have done and where Parang came from, in order for them to be standing on that stage at that moment, making that presentation. It is also an attempt to involve the other students, because, some students might like drama, some students might like art. So we decided, let's engage the drama unit of the schools and have them participate. So we increased the number of students being involved in the Junior Parang by including the drama. And we will now continue that trend by including the art, including the designing element of it as we move forward. So the idea is to get more and more students involved, not necessarily the ones who sing or play an instrument, but the others who are inclined to be to do other aspects of the creative industry to also come together on this, to make it more festival-like and to immerse the children more in the culture. So I'm seeing a lot of involvement, especially from the younger level. I remember after the competition, some of the students, they call me Miss. You remember me? And I'm like, okay, yes, I still see the little Miss. I said, what are you doing? Well, Miss, I left school, and I'm helping a school. And Miss, is there any way after we finish this that we can form a band because we want to continue Parang? Well, that was music to my ears. Because now you're looking at them coming out of secondary school or tertiary education and wanting to form parang bands, So we do have a few bands like that already where they came out from school and now they want to immerse themselves more and more into the parang art form to become one of the big bands now. So I'm seeing where parang is in great hands. They even when I look at the bands around Trinidad, the senior bands, I'm looking at them and I'm seeing they too are ensuring that communities are filled with the music of Parang.
When it came to that aspect of the history and the background, even speaking about icons, what were the results of that? Did you see enthusiasm in respect to learning about the history of Parang and the icons who have helped the art form to evolve, to have shaped really what we know as Parang?
Yes, the students were very excited, especially the idea of including the drama students and not just the parent. They were so excited. When you look at some of the presentations were all grand presentations. So you saw that the children were excited and they're looking forward to it next year. When I looked at it and sometimes some of them I wonder if I was in a Dimash Gras show because they came with all their big posters and pictures of what is Daisy Vozet or Gloria Alcazar, Holly B. Todier, there was Henry Pereira, so Lara Brothers, So when we looked at it and we look at the excitement in which these children, the time that was placed into putting that presentation together, we know that they were excited. If you see them in the who dressed like Tito Lara, the drama aspect of it, So it was really, I think it's something that the schools are definitely looking forward to next year and beyond that. And just as I was telling you before, including the other elements, I think that is definitely going to be a plus and excite the children even more to become involved in the Parang art form on any level at all.
What if that wanting to create these Parang bands, are you seeing new Parang bands, being trained out every year? Are you seeing groups being formed every year?
I'm seeing a lot of groups being formed every year. But one of my major concern, it's a concern in a way because sometimes people just come together and form a Parang group.
Yeah.
Just to gig, as they say. We might get a few gigs and, you put $1 in your pocket and 5 persons come together. I call them the five-piece specialists. And it is creating, like recently I did a post on social media about corporate Trinidad and persons, companies wanting to employ paranderos for $2,500 and $3,000 and $3,500. And I was a bit appalled the amount of them that was happening for 2024. It's difficult after, ensuring and working for an art form to bring it out of, this is just about drink a rum or eat a piece of ham or a pastel when you come by me, to a meaningful, which is the season, the reason for the season, the birth of Jesus Christ. And it was a bit difficult for me to see all these little parang bands being formed just for the 5-piece and when a band, say like a big band, a 12-member band, because we have a lot of large bands in Trinidad and Tobago, these said companies are saying, that's my budget. My budget is $3,000. My budget is $2,500. And they expect to pay that to a large band. Well, of course, you would know that they would pay one individual 10 times that. And that is a bit concerning for me. But yes, we are seeing a lot of parang bands being tuned out. I'm very interested in the element where the younger ones are so much interested in forming new bands, and that interest, as I was saying, that they're running to you and saying, how is this possible? We want to do this. We want to get involved in this. And I was telling somebody, we need to be very mindful that these young people who are getting into parang and immersing themselves in the history of parang, that they don't fall into this mentality of, yeah, give me something to drink and give me a little $5, you know. It means more to people like myself and a lot of paranderos out there, that we are taking this, just like if we are calypso artists, if we are soca artists, we are gospel artists, this is what we do. This parang is what our lives, you know. So I am seeing a lot of it, but we need to be very mindful as to what we're promoting it as, so that we are not seen as just somebody, another art form to just, you know.
Do you think that to an extent that it may be seen or can be seen as a mockery of the art form, and for all the wrong reasons? Do you think that is a possibility?
Well, in a way, especially if you are not aware of why. Yes, there's a why. And paranderos are carolers, firstly, where at Christmas time, as you would know, carolers will go from house to house, singing songs, celebrating the story of the birth of Jesus Christ. And that is who paranderos are at Christmas time. That's what we do, the music that we do. And sometimes you would see, if you're listening, if a band is on stage or a band is at a home, sometimes they don't know that you need to start with a serenal, which is a song saying that, hey, this is who I am, this is where we're from, this is the name of the band, this is the name of the singer, and this is why we are here. So somebody might start a parang with a manzanari or a istribi or a sai. So there is a lot of ignorance, mind you, out there, but that's why we are here, to ensure that we get that message out there, that there's a structure. And not only that, we are becoming a bilingual society. So it's very important that we use music. This is the only music that we have that would be able to bridge that gap, as in schools and even among our citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. They start to pick up on words and the meaning because of parang. So if we immerse ourselves, if whether it's on a governmental level, corporate Trinidad and Tobago, start supporting this in the way it should be supported as a tool for education, and also, of course, that tool to bring joy and the message to citizens locally and beyond, I think the art form is going to propel even more.
How's the National Parang Association, or rather, what is the National Parang Association of Trinidad and Tobago doing to propel the art form even further? We celebrated National Parang History Month. That was really interesting. I remember that interview very well. But beyond just that, I mean, what else is the association doing for the promotion of the art form?
Well, this year in particular, every year we try to look at different elements of the art form that we think should be highlighted. So this year, we decided to focus on where it all started, which was the House Parang Festival. So we have a House Parang Festival this year, where the paranderos themselves, we choose a base house, and we have a mini concert in that base house. But from that house, paranderos will go out doing house-to-house parang in the traditional way, where the persons you're not supposed to know when you're coming. There's a more recent thing where people plan house parang. In the past, what they do is they show up and the people open the door, and sometimes they don't open the door at all. We went to Piparo actually, and we had that experience. I think it was the 9th of November. So we're going, and I went to that house parang, and singing, and singing, and the people didn't open the door,
Oh no.
And what we did is we went to another, we decided we continue paranging in the streets, and we saw, when they heard the parang, a family, they peeping out and thing. So we stopped and we singing our serenade there, So here we are as an association, trying to teach persons, this is where it came from. This is where it all started. And this is the format, so that this is not just pick up a quattro or pick up a marac and just sing. Our icons, that is what they used to do. People like Tito and Willie, when they tell you stories and they're going from house to house, sometimes they don't come back for days.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They would put their toothbrush, an extra change of undies and a little jersey. Yeah. If you hear the stories of house parang, you would know. And they would go from village to village until like sometimes Christmas morning they may come back, and sometimes they didn't see them until Boxing Day, So yes. So that's what the association is doing this year, taking this element of the art form to highlight where we came from, so that persons will know that we're serious about this thing, and this is where it came from, and we continue to evolve the art form, and yet still maintaining and preserving the integrity of where it came from.
And it's just under 3 weeks before the big day itself is celebrated. Has it been a busy season thus far, and is the next 3 weeks proving to be a packed calendar?
It is. For example, like this weekend, the National Parang Association, we have 2 events. One is on Saturday, where we go to Arima, as they say, the home of Parang. Everything was done very modest, because we don't have the finances as an association to have the large festivals that we are used to seeing, because to produce one of those festivals is like over $100,000 each community we go in. So we try to keep it, small. So we are at the Paul Mitchell Street on Saturday in Arima, by the First Peoples. It's just a small contribution we ask people to make of $100. So that is Saturday. That's the House Parang Festival. And then Sunday, we have the close of the Parang Tent. We have our Parang Tent. We started the Parang Tent last year, and we continued it this year. It's one of the programs that we started to really try to exist from January to December. So we are hoping that maybe once a month or twice a month that we will have the tent open from January to December. We're looking at sustainability in any way that we can. Small first, eventually we will grow. So that the close of the Parang Tent is this Sunday on Aripita Avenue at Wing It. One of our paranderos is in charge of that place down there. So we are taking Parang down on Aripita Avenue by Wing It. In addition to that, well, I have my band Los Alumnos de San Juan, and we, in between that, now we have to try to maneuver your way through the association and through your band, and then through your private shows, and which is good because it means that you are busy. And our band is preparing for our concert also, which is on, this is the 4th year we're having our concert, Cantando Glory. And that is on the 16th of December at Estate 101. So if you want tickets, you could call me 7850248. Yes.
I realize I have no excuse. I've been given notice. You have no excuse. Thank you so very much for joining us on the program this morning. Thank you for your time. I hope you're excited, but I promise you that you will get to sleep in the month of January. You're gonna have to stay awake for the month of December. But when January comes, don't worry, you'll get some rest.
Yes. So, well, I am so thankful, and I do hope that I see you at a Parang event. And I just want to encourage Trinidad and Tobago to continue to support the art form of Parang, corporate Trinidad and Tobago, governmental agencies, that we are working to ensure that we preserve and promote this art form. And I'm just making an appeal for the support that we need to ensure that this art form, this year we celebrate 53 years. So that says of our, perseverance, So we are hoping that you all, come on board in the future so that we can continue to work, especially for the younger ones and the generations to come. So I want to say thank you very much, Kitan, and the entire WESN family for having me this morning. And I take this opportunity to wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a bright and a prosperous New Year.
Oh, thank you very, very much. All the very best of the season to you and all the merriments associated with it. Thank you for all that you do, and thank you for the music. Thank you very much.
I'll see you at Paramin.
Yes. Thank you very much, Miss Jagger. So do have a great day ahead and enjoy the rest of the season.
Igualmente.
Take care. That's another hint I was given this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, you gotta brush up on your Spanish. So, a lot of hints. Thank you very much, Miss Jagger. So take care.
Take care.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a break on the program. We'll return shortly.
Simon's Musical Supplies Limited. We are the specialist in new and used musical instruments, carrying top brands like Yamaha, Pearl River Pianos, Vinyl and Sabian cymbals, Remo and Evans drumheads and Fender guitars, just to name a few. Also a wide assortment of music books, pan and accessories. At Simon's, we service what we sell. Trust the leader. Call us now at 625-6412 or visit us at 20 Board Street, Port of Spain.
Transform your home with PCU Plus. From stylish furniture to the latest appliances, we have everything you need to create your perfect space. At PCU Plus, we offer fair prices and affordable financing options that are cheaper than hire purchase agreements. With convenient locations in San Fernando, Tobago, Arima, and our lifestyle showroom in Barataria, you're never far from the best deals. Visit PCU Plus today and discover why we're the top choice for quality furniture and appliances. PCU Plus. Quality you trust. Prices you'll love. Visit one of our locations or find us online to start transforming your home today.
Here's your chance to win a bicycle, a ride-on, or a hoverboard. Shop at dbesttoys.com and spend $300 or more to win big.
We've got Barbie,
Hot Wheels, Gel Blasters, Ride-ons,
Leapfrog,
Nerf, bicycles and tricycles.
Greco, and Wonder Baby.
Visit us in store at Forces Flagship, McBean, Movietown, Port of Spain, Eastgate Mall, and M6 Plaza, Endeavour. Merry Christmas, everyone!
My name is Dr. Stephen Carroll, the CEO at Community Hospital of Seventh-day Adventist, and we are committed to making good private health care affordable.
For all your medical needs, including dental, radiology, laparoscopy, behavioral and mental health, along with many other services, contact us for more information at 235-5479.
Community Hospital of Seventh-day Adventist,
where good private health care is affordable.
and gentlemen, thanks for being with us this morning as we continue with this edition of the program. Our next conversation focuses on a particular subject area as it relates to police operations in Tobago, and by extension, the justice system. But let's focus on one of the stories that we are reading of as of yesterday, where a victim for crime is threatening to sue the state after a detailed police report of the incident was leaked and subsequently spread on social media. And the question that first came to mind is exactly what is the police's responsibility when it comes to duty of confidentiality? And I can get into that conversation this morning with my next guest, attorney at law Lala. Good morning, Sin. Welcome to the program.
Good morning. Thank you for having me, and good morning to all your viewers.
Thanks for joining us, Mr. Lala. And let me start by asking you to define exactly what is a duty of confidentiality?
Well, a duty of confidentiality arises in many cases, not only the police in confidential relationships, doctors, lawyers, accountants. There's a professional duty of care where information that is passed, it is sometimes expressed and implied that that information should never be shared to anyone. So, for example, you don't want to go to a doctor or a lawyer, using an example, and give very personal confidential information and not necessarily have to sign something by the person saying that it's confidential. It's understood that that must never be shared. The same applies to the police or Inland Revenue or Customs Department or any other departments. There's an understanding that that information is confidential and ought never to be shared.
Mm-hmm. In that regard, what are the authorities' responsibility in ensuring that a duty of confidentiality is never breached?
Well, if we use the example you've drawn reference to of the recent claim by an attorney that his client's confidential information has been breached, the answer is yes. The police have an overall responsibility to ensure that information is kept confidential, and it is the police service as a whole. So, in the head of the police service, the commissioner of police becomes ultimately responsible. So even where there are acts of rogue police officers, you'd see very often cases being filed or matters coming up where awards are made against police officers or scathing remarks are made against police officers for their conduct. Ultimately, the state is responsible for it. State meaning the taxpayers. So when you see large sums of money being paid because of breaches of duty, it is the police service as a whole. So one errant officer causes the whole police service to come into disrepute. And monies that are paid for lawyers, for damages, all of that comes out of money that could be allocated for buying cars for the police service, guns, health care. So while sometimes police officers are not held responsible, and judges have very often said that police officers should be made personally responsible, the problem we have is officers sometimes take the position that, yes, even if you sue me, I am not ultimately responsible for the money that has to be paid. The taxpayers pay that money. And a lot of money is squandered by errant conduct of police officers, wrongful arrests, abuses, wrongful searches, wrongful information being dealt with. And coming to your point, yes, there's a responsibility, especially if I provide confidential information of a report. And remember, a report being made, if I make a report against you, it's not necessarily evidence. It's not a conviction against you. It's not information that is going to can be used against you. It is merely information for the purposes of an investigation. It could be wrong. So either way, if the police were to publish all the information I make against you and it turns out to be completely false, that damages your reputation. But in the case of the businessman, I'm providing my FUL license, my gun license. I am providing my address, my occupation, how much money I lost. Very, very detailed information. That leaks. You're putting that person at risk. And what that sends a message now, if the police don't address it very quickly, it sends a message that, listen, any report I make against somebody who may be an extortionist or somebody who's threatening me, it is likely that information could be leaked. And what that does, it puts me at risk. And the danger with these, apart from the police being responsible, and the answer is yes, the police are responsible and liable for breaches in many cases. But what that does, we already have an undermined police service where people are fearful of cooperating with the police. And, you know, we always apologize that, yes, most of the police officers are good, and it is true. But the problem is one police officer conducting an illegal act, everyone in the police service is responsible. They all wear the same uniform. They're all police officers. It's the TTPS gets the damaged reputation. And there are many cases, and I have been involved in cases where the information from the police has been leaked to gangs and other people. And this is why people do not want to testify. This is why people are fearful in the system. And you have to understand, social media, once something enters the social media realm, it becomes viral and it is almost impossible to pull it back. So my personal information being leaked, and no one will want to take responsibility, that then becomes in the public domain that anyone can see it. And it puts me at risk and at threat. And I'll go on even further to say, I think one of the judges recently was complaining about even criminal records not being produced. So if you are charged, there's a duty in the police very quickly to pull the computer records and to produce it to say what charges exist against you. And what is even more alarming, I am actually involved in a case right now where certain confidential records of the TTPS have been altered fraudulently. And my client, and this matter is before the High Court, my client, there's information that is inaccurate, malicious, and it is put into the TTPS database. We're still waiting on a decision of it. But you see, that's where it comes to data confidentiality. And we're also dealing in an age of AI where things could be manipulated very easily. And how do you, as a member of the public, gain the confidence, other than the Commissioner of Police and others holding press conferences, to say, yes, don't worry, trust us, believe in us? And we see daily in the newspaper courts having decisions made against officers, awards being made, and nothing other than apologies being made. And you see, you can only prosecute matters and you can only deal with matters if the public has confidence in the police service. And I'm confident that that article that appeared yesterday where the lawyer is taking action is going to make people even more wary of providing information to the police.
Of course, Mr. Lawler. And I'm curious, you know, from what you've said, I gather that this is a very common occurrence. This happens quite frequently.
Unfortunately, that is a fact. And the problem is no one ever takes responsibility for it. And we're in a time that is one of the most precarious times in our history when it comes to crime. People are so nervous. People are locked in their houses. People are fearful of the criminals. They're fearful of the police. And in as much as we have to rely on the police and we trust the police because that's the arm of the state that is empowered to protect us, there's so many stories, and not only stories of people repeating stories, there's so many cases that are reported, that are published, showing the errant conduct of the police officers. And the only way you can build that is by addressing issues as quickly as they come and finding solutions. Most of the cases, what the police do is they wait for a trial, 3 years, to say, well, okay, we're wrong, we've got an award of $100,000, and, you know, we'll pay it. But that can't work. You have to build confidence in such a way that members of the public don't fear you. And in as much as they're very good police officers, I have a lot of friends who are police officers, and I know a lot of very good police officers. And it is unfortunate for them to suffer the wrath of the very small number that are corrupt and dishonest, but the brush paints everybody. And you, as a law-abiding citizen, as reading the newspapers and looking at the social media, must have concerns about dealing with the police. And the police can't just hold press conferences and say, okay, we'll deal with it. The confidence level and the trust level, I can't give information and wonder if somebody's going to give it. I give information to you about somebody who's threatened to extort money and hurt my family, and I'm going to wonder if it's going to leak to the person who is threatening me. I mean, that can't ever happen, and these type of matters have to be addressed, and they need to come out in the public domain and say this will never happen again, and these are the measures we're going to put in place that it does not happen. And the same applies to false information being put. Could you imagine if I make a false report against you and make scathing allegations against you, and that is then circulated? You lose your job, you lose your family. Information in this time in our lives, because of social media and AI, has to be so critically guarded and preserved in a way. This is not 20 years ago where you're telling your neighbor and the neighbor tells somebody else. In a second, it's viral globally and it remains there forever. So these are things that I'm glad you raise it, because if you don't raise it, people aren't aware, and then the police themselves aren't aware the impact it has in people's lives. It can't just simply be, well, you know, somebody did it, I don't know how they get it, don't worry about it. Yes, we have to worry about it, because it has to be, we have to be fair to the citizens that they are protected and they have that level of confidence. And that's the only way you're going to deal with crime in the country. If we're all nervous about making reports and nervous about the confidentiality of our information, you're going to end up in a situation where people are going to be very wary. And
Of course,
the last thing I'll add, you also see people are very wary to even be witnesses in matters. You hear a lot of incidents taking place where people are saying, it's better I don't go to the police. I don't want to pursue any matter because I'm not sure something is going to happen to me. And these are real issues. We can't just sweep it under the carpet. And the police has a responsibility to ensure that we as citizens have the confidence to make reports, provide information, give information about the people who are delinquent, make reports. They should be doing everything to encourage, because if the police don't have information and participation from the public, their crime fighting abilities with all their cars and phone tapping and all the other activities they engage in means nothing. Your best weapon are law-abiding citizens to partner with you.
Well, Mr. Lala, what I'm very, very pleased of is you looked at it from both perspectives. You looked at it from an alleged victim's perspective, but also the accused, who could be, following a police investigation, deemed to have been wrongly accused, but his reputation, their reputation, could actually take a blow if such information is leaked before an investigation is even completed. But that in itself, the investigation, when a police report is made, that is the first step in an active investigation. If this information is leaked, how could it impact the rest of the investigation?
Well, what it does, it creates prejudice, and lawyers can raise this at the time of trial. But it also, if there's confidential information being leaked, let's say I allege somebody has robbed me, and all the information is leaked, the person who is likely to be investigated has already received the information of what he is likely to be investigated on, and may have the answer or create his defense to what your allegation is well in advance of the element of surprise. And remember, very often the police, why matters are meant to be confidential in an investigation. If you say the man that robbed me was 6 foot tall, beard, long hair, and I get that report on social media and I know it's me, I cut my hair, I shave my beard, because you've just given me all the information, and I was at Frederick Street in Port of Spain. I am already prepared and equipped well in advance of your coming to me. But I actually was in San Fernando and I have short hair and I don't have a beard and I have a tattoo here. So, you know, the whole purpose of it is the confidentiality, is not only to protect the victim, but also to ensure that the investigation is done properly, thoroughly, and justice is done. And if there are false reports being made, the police have a duty, it's administration of justice. the police officers up to today, I mean, my whole career, I've seen people being charged falsely and maliciously by police. And this is not only about charging people, lawyers, police officers, judges, all of us are working in the administration of justice. My duty is not just to try to get people off. My duty is to make sure the law works, that the justice system works. The same applies to police. It's not just to say, well, I don't like you, I'll lock you up because I can. That's not your role. Your role is to investigate, to fairly deal with matters. But a lot of police officers think because they have power, I can flex and do whatever, and I'll lay a charge on you for obscene language or abuse, and just let it run because I'm powerful. That's never your duty. And we've lost our roles and responsibilities in so many ways. And unless, fortunately, the judges are robust in dealing with matters, but the sad part about it is not everybody can retain a lawyer and go to court and hope to have a matter resolved in 3 years. And people knowing what their rights are upon arrest or the confidentiality of information. And people now are going to tell the police, I want you to ensure that my information is going to be held confidential. And they're going to ask police officers, I want your name. So if ever it leaks, I hold you responsible. So you put so much more burden on the system by these measures. And the Commissioner of Police has a duty as the leader to pull up the socks of her officers. Otherwise, this will just degenerate.
Now, in that regard as well, if a report is leaked, does that warrant an investigation? And if that is the case, who is charged with that investigation?
Well, very often, most of the investigations in the DPS are done by internal divisions. There's a special bureau of investigations that deals with more serious matters. But very often, it's the senior officers look into it. But you see, the problem is when a station diary report is made or a report is circulated, and many officers have access to it in the station, the reports usually come back inconclusive. And yes, we had a report, nothing comes out of it, nothing is done, and it's swept under the carpet. The damage is already done. So sometimes it's himself unto himself. Do you get really the result you want out of it?
In that regard as well, this obviously impacts, as you mentioned, the administration of justice. So this, it's not just an issue that could affect confidentiality in the police, but also confidentiality in the entire criminal justice system.
Well, of course. I mean, if you're testifying in a matter, if you are providing witness statements, if you are a potential witness, and you ask yourself, remember, a law-abiding citizen may not know how the criminal justice system works. And he's reading articles and saying, but wait a minute, if I go to the police, it's quite likely my information could be leaked outside. If I am involved in anything in the system, this could happen. It becomes very nervous for the law-abiding citizen. If he hears that information could be manipulated, that there's abuse taking place. And while we try very hard to praise the police officers, but at the end of the day, one wrong act undermines the police service. So police officers or the system gets upset very often that lawyers should never make any scathing remarks. But we have a duty to ensure the system works. One innocent person being taken advantage of or wronged is an indictment against the entire system.
Mr. Lawler, in your opinion, what can be done or what should be done to address these issues, these concerns?
Well, right now, the only thing that is being done is people are litigating matters, and judges are finding actions against police officers and the TDPS and making awards. But with that done, the only people who are responsible to deal with the TDPS and the confidence in it is the Commissioner of Police and the Minister of National Security. I, as a law-abiding citizen or as a lawyer, all I could do is make complaints and file legal action. All judges can do is make orders and raise serious concerns in their reports. But if all these things are happening, the country's in a state of crime where people are completely at bay and fearful of their lives. The people who are charged with the responsibility to ensure the system works are those who hold the Office of National Security and Commissioner of Police. And they must see, forget what you and I are talking about. Look at, I mean, I say the newspaper, but look at the court judgments that are taking place. Look at what the judges are saying as independent arbiters. And that in itself should make national security and the police very concerned. And they, just like a CEO in an organization, would be very concerned if his products are not selling or his revenue is dropping. And he has a responsibility to make sure it works. A Minister of National Security and a Commissioner of Police is no different than a CEO. Their business is the business of the people to ensure security. And if it's failing, what are you doing in your capacity to ensure that you're improving it? And that's where we have to hold them accountable. It's nothing personal against any individual. It's just the office. It's so, again, we don't hold anything against a CEO. It's the office you hold. You choose to hold that office. And with that office comes responsibility.
Mr. Lala, I'm curious, as we're closing this conversation, are there any other elements to this situation, to this matter, that you think people need to be aware of, should be aware of?
Well, people need to be aware of their basic constitutional rights. You have the right to remain silent in the face of an accusation. No one can force you to say or do anything. You have the right to a relative, a friend. You have the right not to incriminate yourself. You have the right not to be beaten by the police. You have the right to know who is interviewing you. A police officer must identify themselves. Under a search warrant, a police officer must identify the nature of the search and show you the warrant. Police officers never like to show you that. If you're making a report, you're entitled to get a receipt for the report. You're entitled to know the name of the officer who you're making the report to. People need to know what their rights are. Rights and privileges are not a secret. And people need to hold the police accountable, not in an aggressive way, not in a rude way, but the law provides citizens with protection of the law, and the police officers have a responsibility in the way in which they conduct themselves. And if something goes wrong, people need to take action. And that's the only way things are going to improve in this place. I mean, most people are terrified to do anything, but the only way is calling it out. If you don't call it out, then that means we're accepting it and allowing it to perpetuate. And we have a tough balancing exercise with a criminal element that runs roughshod in the country. But at the same time, while the criminals are running wild, you can't take advantage of law-abiding citizens and say your rights now are compromised because we can't deal with the criminals.
Very much so, Mr. Lala. I want to thank you so much for joining us on the program this morning. Thank you for your time and for sharing this with us. Thank you for educating us and bringing us a sense of awareness as per exactly what is taking place. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you for having me. Have a great day.
You too. All the very best for the season.
Thank you, and to you and your family.
Ladies and gentlemen, as Mr. Lala said, you need to know your constitutional rights. You need to be aware of what are your rights as a citizen and guaranteed by the highest laws of the land. Let's take a break on the program, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back.
Here is your WESN News on the Hour. I'm Naomi Macnish. Thanks for joining us. Here are the headlines. Top 25 steel bands set for single pan finals. ICNTT and Nursing Council renew partnership for quality training. Tabitha's Home expands support for vulnerable women and children. And U.S. team praises Tobago Health Clinic for top-tier services. Now for the details. Pan Trinbago has revealed the top 25 single pan steel bands set to compete in the single pan finals on December 14th at the Queen's Park Savannah. The announcement followed the opening of score sheets on December 3rd. Leading the pack are Chord Master Steel Orchestra, Trinidad East Side Symphony, Hope Pan Groovers, San Juan East Side Symphony, and Metro Star Steel Orchestra. The event, featuring bands chosen from the recent preliminaries held across 4 regions, promises to showcase the best of Trinidad and Tobago's steel pan artistry. The Accreditation Council Trinidad and Tobago and the Nursing Council have renewed their partnership with a memorandum of cooperation signed on December 2nd at the Bricks Autograph Collection, St. Anne's. The collaboration, which began in 2014, aims to align nursing education with international standards, ensuring graduates are academically and professionally competent. The ICNTT says the renewed agreement will enhance program approvals, improve quality assurance, and address workforce challenges in the healthcare sector. Officials, including ICNTT's Curtis Floyd and NCTT's Corey George, emphasized the partnership's role in strengthening nursing education. Acting Permanent Secretary Simone Williams hailed the collaboration as a model of synergy, fostering excellence in healthcare training. Tabitha's Home for Women and Children in Tobago has expanded its services with the addition of 3 self-contained apartments thanks to $800,000 partnership between the Digicel Foundation and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. The shelter, established in 2019 to aid women facing abuse, now offers upgraded facilities, including a fully furnished technology center with computers, tablets, and free high-speed internet. At the ribbon cutting on November 22nd, Digicel Foundation Director Georgina Peterkin reaffirmed their commitment to empowering survivors. Tabitha's Home President Rowena Martino-Pitt expressed gratitude for the support, saying the upgrades mark a significant step in helping more women and children rebuild their lives. A team from the U.S. CDC and PEPFAR has commended the Tobago Regional Health Authority's Health Promotion Clinic, calling its integrated services top of the line during their December 2nd visit. Dr. Patrice Rambathali Nandram and her team conducted a quality assessment using a WHO PEPFAR tool to evaluate post-violence care services. Tobago is the first Caribbean island to implement this assessment. The team also met with Health Secretary Dr. Faith B. Israel and other officials to discuss advancing public health efforts. Particularly in light of World AIDS Day, observed on December 1st, both sides expressed eagerness to strengthen collaboration in addressing HIV and AIDS and gender-based violence. Well, that's news to the hour on WESN. I'm Naomi McNish. Thanks for watching.
If these walls could talk, they'd cry, "Uncle." They didn't plan to become offices or yoga studios, but they've stood by us, even when we got a little stir-crazy. For that, they deserve some thanks. They deserve Benjamin Moore.
FanZone, your reliable, authentic supplier, has just gotten better. You can now visit our website, www.fanzonett.com, for your authentic wear and collectibles. The only place where you can use both your Visa debit and credit cards. Visit our website, fanzonett.com, to make your purchase today.
Together, but Carnival 2025 is being promised to be bigger and better than previously, and there are a couple additions to the festivities for 2025. And this morning, let's get into some of those details as I am joined by the chairman of the National Carnival Commission, Winston Gypsy Peters. Good morning, Mr. Peters. Could you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you clearly. Good morning, good morning, good morning to you. Good morning to Trinidad and Tobago and wherever else in the world we are heard.
Well, Mr. Peters, thanks for joining us so early morning. The theme, No Place Like Home 2025, of course, borrowed from Michael Tage's DNA. But why is this theme appropriate for celebrations next year?
Because Trinidad and Tobago is really the home of the type of carnival that we celebrate around the world. And wherever you go in the world, in a lot of countries in the world, you will find Trinidad and Tobago type carnival. But we want you to know that what you're seeing there is really extracts of what we have from Trinidad and Tobago. And Trinidad and Tobago, there is no place like home. There's no kind of carnival like it. When you see our carnival, then you have seen the carnival. Then you have seen what the real carnival is.
Trinidad and Tobago is setting the stage or setting the examples for the rest of the world to follow when it comes to what carnival should be like.
We have set the stage because we have given the world, and we must not be coy about that, we have given the world this type of carnival that they have. Even though there are carnival in the world that in the world that are older than our carnival, but our carnival, the type of carnival that we have in Trinidad and Tobago, we have given the world that. We have given the world the calypso, the steel pan. I mean, we have given the world so much, the limbo, the chutney soca. The only place you find these things in abundance is right here, you know, because it belongs to us, and we have given the world that.
Indeed. Gypsy, what can we expect from Carnival 2025? I know that there have been promises that there would be things that are bigger and better. Could you speak to some of those things?
Well, yeah, we are trying our best to see how best we can make it more comfortable because, you know, we have a congestion problem with Carnival. Because to be truthful and to be honest with you, our Carnival has outgrown our city, the city of Port of Spain. What Trinidad and Tobago need now is a dedicated place in Trinidad and Tobago for Carnival. You see, like how the Vatican have a place for for Catholicism, and they have a place in Mecca and stuff for you know, we must have a dedicated place. I don't know how we're going to expand Port of Spain. I don't think that we can. So we would have to find ways. The planners, I'm not a planner. I'm just an administrator. I am not a planner at all of routes and what have you in terms of constructing them. But we have to find the planners of Trinidad and Tobago. If we believe, as I do, that Carnival is a significant cog in our economic wheel, we would have to find a way to make Carnival a little bit less congested, for the people who comes to our Carnival and for ourselves. And we are trying to work with what we have now because that's either medium or long term. But what we have immediate here now, we are working with it to see how comfortable we can make it. And these are some of the inputs that we are putting into the whole planning, apart from the elaborate mass and whatever else we have that you will only find here. So we're doing a lot of work.
So is that something that has been discussed at length, the possibility of finding a home for Carnival?
Well, we have been discussing it at length, and a previous administration have been actually trying to implement it. But it never come to fruition. But yes, we are working on it. Yes, we talk about it, and we are trying to see how best we can.
Now, of course, you just mentioned how Carnival contributes to our economy. One of the delightful pieces of news that you shared at the launch of Carnival was Carnival 2024 generated US $93 million for our economy, and this figure has been verified by the Central Statistical Office. Is Carnival growing strength by strength since we've fully opened up since the COVID-19 pandemic, the hybrid events, but are we seeing that growth? Are we seeing more participation?
Well, we are seeing it because I mean, you're hearing the figures. You're looking at I mean, if you're looking at the physical people that you're seeing here, you can tell if you're an ordinary person, not even really paying a lot of attention to the statistics, to the official statistics. If you're a regular citizen, a regular person, just an onlooker, you can look at it. When you look at Carnival today, the reason why people complaining now that Carnival in Port of Spain is not what it used to be, and let's take, for instance, on Juve and stuff, you are not seeing the same amount of people that you used to see. It is not that there are any less people in the country. What is happening is because we have the NCC have been working for years now on the regional carnivals, and we have been funding the regional carnivals. So actually people are staying in their region and making their carnival bigger. So Port of Spain, while Port of Spain is the epicenter, and that is one of the diversification that we are trying to get to ease the congestion in Port of Spain. So while you look at Port of Spain and you say, wow, you know, you don't have as much people, it is not that there are any less people in Trinidad for Carnival, but they are all spread out because the regional carnivals have become very interested because we are funding those carnivals as well.
We're seeing greater participation there, of course. When you say regional gypsy,
well, the regional we have 52 regional carnivals in Trinidad. Because remember, we have San Fernando, Port of Spain, Point Fountain, every nook and cranny in Trinidad and Tobago. Well, now I won't you hear, I am deliberately excluding Tobago because I would like to see a total delinking of Trinidad Carnival from Tobago Carnival. When it's Tobago Carnival, let the people from Trinidad go to Tobago. And when it's Trinidad Carnival, let the people from Tobago come to Trinidad. And that's inter-island tourism, inter-island economic activities that we're having in that respect. So if you hear me saying Trinidad Carnival, it is not for the country Trinidad and Tobago. We are talking about Carnival for the islands now. The island Tobago and the island Trinidad. So I am saying to you that with these regional carnivals, we have been putting money into it. So if you take, for instance, I am talking to you right now from Mayaro where I live, right?
Yes.
And if you would come to Juve in Mayaro now, you would never believe that it's the same place that you used to see 10 or 15 or 20 years ago. Because the carnival here has improved so much, especially on a Juve morning. So those are the things that we are working on. Those are the things that we are trying to make better in the country. And
you know, from your perspective of chairman of the NCC, I don't know if you are in a position to tell us this morning any idea of what you hope the investment in Carnival 2025 would be.
What we hope the investment will be?
Yes, in the sense that how much do you think the NCC needs for Carnival 2025 based off of what we've seen for 2024 and your projections for 2020, expectations for 2025?
Carnival, enough money is not put into Carnival. And I say that without fear of contradiction. The government funds Carnival. The Carnival gives back to the country, basically, I mean, 5, 10, 15 times what it's funded. But the thing about it is that in order to do what you want to do with Carnival, you must have upfront money. It's like any other business that you're going to get into. You must have upfront money to do that business. And Carnival is no different. So we get money from the government. I think this year we get the same thing we got last year, maybe $145 million or 150. Let's put it at $150 million. I am saying that it's not that. But $150 million, because we're going to ask for some more money somewhere along the line. But the fact remains is that is insufficient to fund Carnival the way that Carnival really should be funded. Because Carnival it's an international event that we have given to the world. And we are not benefiting from the internationalization of Carnival as we should be. And why we are not doing that is because our external intervention, while it is bearing fruit, we could do much better in promoting it. We should have our Carnival in Las Vegas. having people, go to Las Vegas in a big way. Right now, they want us to come to Ghana, which is a real big market. If we can get into that kind of market and have people from these places have a lot of money, And if we can have them come to our country, but in order to do that, we must go there, advertise our carnival, go there, have these people come to Trinidad and Tobago, look at what we are doing, and become more interested in it. They are interested already. But you know that when you look at visuals make you buy things. Visuals make you get involved in things. And carnival is no different. But we definitely don't have sufficient money. But having said that, we do work with what we have, and we have to continue working with what we have because we understand the economic situation now. We used to put more money into carnival at one point in time, but that is when it had much more money in the economy. So we are working on it, and carnival itself, if some of the money that is generated by carnival itself is put aside, deliberately put aside by the government. Let's say, okay, we make 93 million US dollars. Let's say if the government would say, we're going to put aside 10 million or 30 million or 40 million of that to put back into carnival, I mean, then we'll understand that it could work even better. Like take, for instance, Jamaica. Jamaica makes sure that they imbue their carnival into their tourism budget, which is heaven knows how much hundreds of millions of dollars US that their tourism budget is, because that's what they live by. Mm-hmm. And that is what we would have to live by one of these days as well. Because I make no apology for saying that finite commodity that we have that is called gas and oil, one of these days, you see people trying all kind of things in the world. They want to go green, they want to go yellow, they want to go whatever they want to go. And we are going to fall right into that, whether we have the oil or we don't have it, we are going to fall in that. And we always talk about diversification of the economy. And when we talk about diversification of the economy, it's always when we have an economic downturn. When we flourishing with the oil and gas money, everybody hunky-dory and we keep on going our way. As we have an economic downturn, we start to highlight all this sort of thing about, economic diversification and all of that. But it's when you have the money, you have to think about economic diversification because you have to use the money that you have to diversify whatever you want to. Not when you don't have it. You're going to put yourself in a lot of expense to try to get that money from wherever you're going to get it from and have to pay it back. And if the diversifications that you're trying to get into doesn't work, you have all that money to pay back. I have a lot of noise going on right here. Just hold on 1 second for me. There's
Tom, this is something that Gypsy at the launch of Carnival last weekend did point out. The returns for Carnival 2024 and the potential it has to have as a key driver of Tobago's economy when such finite resources do run out. Gypsy, are you still with us?
Yes, I'm here with you.
Excellent. There was just a noise. What is your opinion on this? Because you did point it out last weekend as well, stating that all of this is free. Of course, nothing is truly free. Somebody has to pay for it somewhere. But do you think that for some events, there should be some charge to patrons who are coming in to enjoy the festivities, given the cost and the rising cost and the returns we want from Carnival? Do you think that there should be some pay from patrons?
Well, patrons do pay, because all the carnivalistic activities that we have, the patrons that come in here do pay. That's how they come, and that's how we get those U.S. money. We can't charge people to come in. When you get to the airport, we charge you to come for Carnival. That is going to be, counterproductive to what we really want to achieve. So what we have to do is to make sure that more people come in here and they spend more of their money. And all the money they spend in Trinidad and Tobago stays here, It doesn't go anywhere. They don't take it back when they go in. It remains right here, and they're not even taking back our Trinidad and Tobago money unless they take it back as a souvenir. And nobody's going to take back hundreds of thousands of dollars in souvenirs. I mean, at one time, any one person. But they bring hundreds of thousands of dollars in their foreign currency wherever they come from. Sometimes, it is not ridiculous, but I try to go down to the lowest denominator, and I say that if all the tourists that we have for Carnival come from Grenada, we're still going to have foreign exchange. You? Are you there with me? Hello? Oh. I don't know what went on there.
Simon's Musical Supplies Limited. We are the specialist in new and used musical instruments, carrying top brands like Yamaha, Pearl River pianos, vinyl and Sabian cymbals, Remo and Evans drumheads and Fender guitars, just to name a few. Also a wide assortment of music books, pan and accessories. At Simon's, we service what we sell. Trust the leader. Call us now at 625-6412 or visit us at 20 Board Street, Port of Spain.
Welcome back to AM Prime, ladies and gentlemen. We apologize for that break, that cut, but we are back now. We're live, and of course, the chairman of the NCC, Winston Gypsy Peters, he was with us. Are you still with us, Mr. Peters? Could you hear me?
Yeah, I'm right here with you.
Yes, Mr. So I'm not going to keep you back much longer, but during the opening ceremony as well, you concluded by urging people to support local artisans, small businesses, and all Carnival stakeholders, of course. So how are we pushing and promoting more promotion of local artisans, of local craft, of all that TNT has to offer locally?
Yes, we do. We are, through the National Carnival Commission, we are doing that, and we are urging people to come out with what they have. Come and bring out your stuff, because we have a lot of foreigners in the country. People want trinkets to take back, the smallest. Sometimes we don't place emphasis on small things, but the smallest of things. I mean, when you travel around the world, you go to Mexico, you go to China. Well, just forget about China. China has the only thing that China don't make is by mechanical means is real people. They have everything that you want to have in China, but when you go to all these places, you find any little thing that you could buy when you're leaving. We are no different. And we must understand that Carnival is important. A lot of the things that we can make, all these miniature costumes, we have plenty. We have a lot of courses in Trinidad and Tobago where we teach people to do all these things and make it. But for them to become entrepreneur, but that entrepreneurial spirit is lacking. We are not seeing the avenues. We are not seeing. It's there, but we are not seeing it. And at the National Carnival Commission, we try to make it as profound as we can so that people can really get into it.
Well, my final question to you is, what is your vision for Carnival 2025 and beyond? What are you really wanting to push? What are you really wanting to see for 2025 and beyond?
For 2025 and way beyond, long after my time, I would like to see the expansion of Carnival. I would like to see the regional carnivals become even more, even larger, even more elaborate. I would like to see our carnival in Trinidad and Tobago be funded even better so that the National Carnival Commission and the government, now whichever government that is, I wish it is my government that would do it, but I would love to see that we put more into the carnival and understand that carnival today is not what it was in 1925. In 1925, they used to tell us that carnival belongs to the devil, and carnival is not a good thing, and pan and calypso and mass is against God. God don't like that. God give us those things. God give it to us, nobody else, and we must use it and understand that we have to use it to make a living. That is why he gave it to us. And we have to forget about this nonsense what they teach us that carnival is not a good thing and it ain't good and you mustn't go to that and because it's not, God don't want that nonsense. That is stupidity. There is a place for everything and our carnival is what God gave us. Apples don't grow in Trinidad, do they?
It's as far as I'm aware.
All right, pears don't grow in Trinidad. I have never seen a coconut tree growing in New York or Alaska. There's a reason for those things. God give, the very God that they're saying don't like carnival is the one who gave it to us. He gave us that creative spirit to create things that we would have something to live by. And that is what we are supposed to be doing, to encourage the people, as I am doing now, to get into the artistry of carnival. And let us make money out of it. Because, you know, right now we should be making money out of all the carnivals that they have in the world. We do, you know, indirectly we do. Because our artists goes to these carnival and perform, and the money that they get comes right back into Trinidad and Tobago. So we have to understand all these things. These are things that people don't look into. So that's what I would like to see. I would like to see the expansion of our carnival.
Indeed. Well, Chairman Peters, thank you very much for joining us on the program this morning. Thank you for your time very early this morning. Of course, there would be lots more to talk about as this journey, 100 days to Carnival 2025, is in full swing. So we will talk very soon again, but all the very best to you and the rest of the team at the NCC in working to make Carnival 2025 another success. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and all the best to you and your family for the Christmas season as well, and to Trinidad and Tobago and the rest of the world wherever Christmas is celebrated. And let's look forward to Carnival the same way, maybe with even more anticipation that we look forward to Christmas. Because Christmas takes from us, and Carnival gives to us.
Indeed. Well, we're here to end the interview. Thank you very much, Chairman. All the very best to you.
Thank you.
Every holiday season, there's one toy everyone has to have.
I want the Turbo Man action figure with the arms and legs that move, and the rock and roaring jetpack, and the boomerang shooter.
Getting it is every child's dream.
Whoever doesn't can be a real loser.
Finding it
You got the doll, right?
is this father's nightmare.
I'll get that toy. I promise. Whoa! Nothing like waiting until the last minute, Howard, sir.
Especially on Christmas Eve.
Turbo Man, you're mine!
They're all gone.
These two are looking for a Turbo Man!
Yes, your Christmas spirit.
The last one just left.
Now, it's two fathers.
This is war.
One mission.
Oh, poor baby.
And every man for himself.
I'm thinking maybe, we could join up as a team. Like Starsky and Hutch.
Well, late delivery of Turbo Man at Toy Works. Let's go.
Is there a problem, officer?
You can never do too much to make a child's Christmas magical.
Hey, buddy.
From the director of Mrs. Doubtfire.
You want a Turbo Man for Christmas?
Forget it. I'm not going to sit in your lap.
Tony, show him.
That was taken this morning.
And from the director of The Flintstones.
Don't open that up. No.
Of course, there's some assembly required.
You know what you guys are? Nothing but a bunch of sleazy con men in red suits.
Arnold Schwarzenegger. Sinbad.
I work for the post office and I'm unstable. Tell him.
This man is totally insane.
Thank you.
Christmas comes but once a year.
Jingle all the way.
You picked the wrong day.
Knowing how to tell authentic is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Find it, match it, search it. Step 1. Find the style number on the tag. Step 2. Match the style number inside the jersey with the number on the tag. Step 3. Search it. A quick Google search of the style number will verify the jersey is authentic when the search results match the jersey being searched. Don't be fooled by counterfeit jerseys. Before you buy, remember to find it, match it, search it.
Fan Zone, 2 locations